know, I mean, even now you could do that very pan in the studio, so it relates to like what the finished work that is downstairs. This is where the magic happens. Along with the paintings, there's laundry, there's coats for 3 different kinds of weather, there's piles of rags, there's a diseased coffee pot, there's lots of books and catalogs and mail that hasn't been sorted out. During the winter months, you know, I don't come out here all that often because it's cold, but it's just such a mental escape valve to know that it's here. You know, since I'm supposedly a geometric painter, in most people's mind that has something to do with sort of a severity of temperament. If you look around, you can see that not only do I have matter in every form and sort of variety of texture, but I've got gray crows, seagulls, and a school of parrots in the magnolia tree, and it sort of suits my less than severe temperament, I think. So it's great. It's great. I thought it might be a cute shot is also just like you could even film me fumbling with the keys trying to open the gallery.
Yeah, sure. Do you think of music in terms of color also?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think it's right. Wait.
Yeah.
Espresso bonito. Yeah, here we go. It's not far to say that, say, a major minors can go into a kind of, again, like shadowy colors, browns, but also greens and blues. In fact, the word for, but it edges because like the Italian word for brown is marrone, like maroon. But then we go to the major. has to do with overtones of color. Like there's certain bright greens that exist in the major scale, and clearly like yellows and oranges.
Have you ever thought of playing one of your own paintings?
Seen it as kind of a connection. I mean, I'm not anywhere near the piano player that I am possibly a painter. People call me a colorist, and I guess by default, working with color the way I've worked with it for so many years, I guess I wind up being one. There are, I guess, theoretical aspects to my use of color that get put into practice. If you look at that painting over there, or any of the paintings as they come into being, it looks like I'm using color right out of the tube, sort of like cyan yellow and cyan blues and reds and violets, but all the colors are actually cross-mixed in a kind of asymmetrical way. If you mix those complements asymmetrically, so your green has a little bit of red in it, your red has a little bit of green in it, your blue has a little bit of orange in it, vice versa. And then here and there add white where it's needed. You get these colors that are much stronger contrast, and yet all the colors work together. And this is how Fauve's painting, post-impressionist painting, Fauve's painting, and German expressionist painting, how those colors all sort of hang together, even though they look like they're again out of the tube.
You want to talk about what you feel when you see color? Like when you look at this, you actually smell or feel?
Oh, yeah. My entire life I've had what you would describe as synesthetic reactions to color. I mean, I have synesthetic reactions to a lot of things, including concepts. So for instance, the number 3 and the number 5 are yellow and orange colors. But I'm not thinking about the color first, I'm thinking about the number. And when I think about a color, I think about, I experience scent, taste, and even associations with climate. So this is a beautiful space.
Can you comment on the use of floor patterns and putting them on a wall? Is that provocative to you to change the perspective?
Well, yes, it is a change of perspective, because when you're looking at the floor, it's stretching out away from you. You're at a much more oblique angle. And then you pull that pattern up, and all of a sudden you find yourself in an aerial point of view. A number of people have said that they're having this kind of face splat moment, like they can imagine that they're waking up on the floor, like after too much drinking or something.
You don't use a lot of round shapes, curved shapes in your art in general. Is there a reason for that?
That may change. One of the reasons is I think that for me the circle is it's too stable in a funny way. I'm trying to there's an emotional quality to the circles that seems a little passive and a little lighter, like almost too light. Like I'm a real believer in irony. You know what it is? The circle becomes the figure too quickly. Geometry has more space for interpretation. I mean, circles is geometric too, but I mean the angular geometry. Why that should be so, at least for my sensibility, or to my sensibility, is something that I've really got to think about. A kind of third optical space, which doesn't exist in real space, has been created. And people are actually disoriented in some kind of really meaningful but playful, curious way. And they want to see, it's like they can't quite get how it works. They know something's happening that they don't understand. And I love that because there's nothing, there's nothing up my sleeve. There's nothing up these paintings' sleeve.
Do you think of it as performance art?
There's a performative aspect to it, which I didn't expect. People would come in during the week that we were working, the staff at the American Academy, other fellows, the administration, just to like kibitz and marvel, and people would be bringing in their wine glasses and going like, this is fantastic, man, or I don't understand this. But the ground crew, the arborists and the maintenance crew, the housekeeping, all these people were coming in, and so I think for me there was so much anxiety about like, were we really going to get this up with the condition of the walls and the time frame, that I wasn't exactly taking as much pleasure in the performance as the rest of the community was. But it was an accidental performance.